you've been feeling the call to write a book, it is no accident. Your book is needed in the world, so let's make it happen. I'm Nicola Humber, and this is the Unbound Writers Club. Hello, and welcome to the Unbound Writers Club. I'm kind of beside myself today. And I don't quite know how to make this introduction because in this episode, I am joined by the cosmic songbird herself, Natalie Farrell. Natalie is someone who joined the Unbound Press family back in 2020, that pivotal year for so many of us. Her book, Light the Way, came out in 2021. And the reason that she is in the Unbound Writers Club for this episode is because the audio version of that book has recently been released into the world. She's created the audio version for us. But more than that, it's what she is creating, what this book has become the seed for in the world is really quite stunning. And it's still evolving, it's still unfolding all around, like the power of our voices, our actual, spoken or sung voices. Natalie's invitation is always to get vocal. That is her piece. That is the big magic that she is weaving. And as we recorded this episode, it was very shortly after an amazing event experience that Natalie had recently hosted, The Power of Us. So we talk about the audiobook, we talk about the Power of Us event and, what's next for that. And it's just always a joy to connect with Natalie, to see what wants to come through in our conversation. I am excited for you to listen in. So, yeah, I'll let you do that. So, Natalie, welcome to the Unbound Writers Club, or welcome back to the Unbound Writers Club.
Oh, yes. Always a delicious, divine moment to be back in here.
It's always delicious and divine to have you here. I am like jumping off my seat with excitement. So I'm going to try and stay relatively grounded for this conversation. And we're here to talk. I mean, we booked this conversation to talk about the audio version of Light the Way. So we're going to begin there. But actually, before we move into that, I'm really curious to know, like, this is a question I ask everyone. And, you've been in the Unbound Writers Club, like having conversations in the podcast a few times. But in this moment, right now, what makes you an unbound writer? What is it in particular?
Trust. Because all we have is trust. Evolution. Expansive loyalty to the all the parts inside of me that are here to be expressed. And through the expression, this is the evolution. So through the expression, through the devotion to the writing, to the creating, to the showing up, the visibility and the vulnerability, it's that metamorphosis, and then, continuing to grow, evolve and shine. And that's what I'm here for. And all in an unpressured, expansive space. And that's so important.
Yeah. Well, you absolutely do that so beautifully. You're doing it so beautifully. And, that piece around evolution is perfect, isn't it? Because, Light the Way, your book came out in 2021, 4 years ago, nearly now. And this year you've decided to create the audio version of it. So what made you decide, like, now is the time for an audio version of Light the Way?
Yeah, well, I've been in again. So the concept, it was very much the father wound that I was working with in the book, and talking about my journey as a singer and how I went into hiding. And then the last couple of years, I've been in some group. So I'm an adult child of an alcoholic, and Dad and I have got this really gorgeous relationship now because of all the work that I've done, the inner work that I've done to understand what my behaviors were, what my traits were, what I picked up as a young child, and what I was still playing out as an adult. And I just learn how important it is to sit and talk out your secrets, the shame that sits, what I'm seeing as the shame shackles around the spine, and to identify with others that totally and utterly get you, which is something obviously that you have created in the Unbound community as well. And that obviously we push each other, we pull each other, we
Mhm.
stretch each other, we hold each other. And so, these two words, get vocal, really came up through that time because I could actually feel the healing. I could feel the healing through the talking. And my life started to change as I'd watched my sister's life change as well. And my responses were changing, my relationships were changing, just getting really, really fucking, I know I can say that because
Yes,
it's
you
Unbound,
can.
right? Yeah, fucking real.
Yeah.
And that's an expression, that I might have held back, and you hear people say, "Can I swear?" No, let's let it be, let whatever the expression is. So yeah, and it felt like it was an honoring to the book, but also to me as a singer. And I wanted to actually weave in songs and the light language, the activation, the language that would come through, the free singing, the toning, to
Mm.
actually code the book itself.
Amazing. Amazing. As you're talking, Natalie, I'm like, I am blown away by the journey you've been on. Obviously, during the writing of the book, that was a journey in itself. But
Mm.
since Like the Way has gone out into the world, like over the past 4 years, the magnificent journey you've been on, the magnificent journey you are going on, particularly around your voice, the way you express, like you talk a little bit there about the light language, like the different ways that you get to express yourself now
Mm.
and that you
Mm.
are expressing yourself.
Mm.
And I mean, it really makes me kind of anchor into the idea of the abundant author, because the idea, one of the kind of underlying principles of that is like your book is a seed, and it feels like the Way has like seeded so much for you and like what you are now creating in the
Yeah,
world.
yeah, yeah. I see it as a seed, but also as an anchor.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's an anchor as well. Yeah, totally, totally and utterly. Yeah. Yeah, and again, it's that evolution. Like I just said to you, I've just sent a book to somebody. Her name's Sam, and I know that book's going to be received with the private, the personal message in it. And yeah, it goes back to that point, that promise that I made, in 2020 to come into the mastermind. And I've shared this again, but I bought it as a gift for my 40th birthday.
mm,
You know what that means? I'm going to be 45 this year. And and so yeah, it's a reclamation, it's the reclaiming. And that's what happens when the woman, the person,
mm,
steps into saying yes to something that maybe is very scary. And I love what you say, like my second book is knocking so hard right now, like it kind of just keeps knocking. And yeah, it's a bit like a domino effect with all that comes out of the opportunities that come out of writing the book.
totally, totally. What was it like for you to sit down? I don't know if you did sit down as you were recording the audio version. Like, what was it like, and how has that process like shifted your relationship with Light the Way?
Oh, what a great question. So I didn't sit down, I
No,
stood up.
I was thinking that.
Yeah, I took the iPad. This is like a kind of, yeah, I took my iPad, and then I have a music stand. So it was on the music stand, and I had to keep having breaks.
Mm,
It's very demanding reading your own book,
mm,
or reading a book. And my book's about I don't know, like 50, 60,000 words. So it was over 55 hours of production time,
Wow.
reading, going into the studio, finding a formula. Because my beautiful Vinny at Ellis Studios over in Spain, he'd never recorded an audiobook before, so he thought it was going to take us 1 or 2 hours. And I was like, no, Vinny, here we go. And but in the end, we created a structure that really works. So I love creating structures. So I love that happened as well, and a formula that worked for us. And yeah, it's going back to that, the visceral, that you, when you're speaking it out, you're connecting even more with, even to the deeper levels and layers of what you've written, and the realizations, and also I suppose, looking back on how you've changed, because I recorded it a few years later. And yeah, so it was beautiful to read it. It was demanding in the sense of, even just reading a couple of pages, your eyes going across the, that was quite demanding. And obviously, being a singer, and I love expressing story through word and through song, so it was very, very easy for me to be expressive and to have those lights and shades and all the textures in a story, and add those in. And then with the songs, that was not something I thought of. But then I started going, hang on a minute. It's me and Dad walking in our cowboy boots, and we had a song called Lockdown that we'd recorded together. So I layered Lockdown with me and Dad. So that means, that's my legacy. That means that Dad and I are, and I'm going to, that's emotional. Like we are there together in that book always. The love, the love, the depth of where I've had to go with my forgiveness to him, to myself, especially myself. It's just, your word, Nicola, potent.
Yeah. Yeah, I really feel that. I really feel that. And I really feel how, and I think this is the case, or I know this is the case with these like deeply transformational books, that they hold space. Like they hold space for us during the writing process, for our unfolding. And obviously, Light the Way is still holding space for you as the transformational, abundant author you are, like for your becoming. And I want to talk about like the poems in the book and
Yeah.
what they've become. Like
Yes.
this is a magical story.
Like this. They're like, yeah, let's do this. Let's do this.
Tell us the story of what these have become.
Yeah, so they came to me so quickly. I saw all the beautiful women in my life that had meant something to me, their essence, and I wanted to put it into words, and they came through so quickly. And last summer, I'd been singing in Spain, and I was coming back here for 3 months to England. I was like, I really don't want to stop singing. So I asked my friend Jennifer Maslin, does she know any pianists? She gave me a list of pianists, and Frances, I was attracted to her. I looked at her work, I listened to her singing songwriting, and I was just like, I just love this woman's energy, her sound, her calibre. She's definitely Empress energy,
Yeah.
very regal, like an eagle. And and then I met up with her, and we met at Club Quantum, and I went into the club, and it was just it wasn't even open, and I said to them, I see that you've got a piano on your Instagram. What are you going to be doing with a piano? I said, I'm a singer. Frances said, I'm a pianist. And we played there a few times, and we did their opening party. But little did they know that we'd only just met. So within 8 weeks, we had got, I think it was like 20 songs together, 25 songs, photo shoot, and we had clips that we could send, audio clips for them to hear us. So I was like, yeah, I like this. This is my go all in lady. This is fast. And then she had read my book, and we were sitting together one day, and she said, Natalie, I'm sure she won't mind me sharing this, as a 49-year-old woman, the poems just really, really sang to me, because, I don't want to forget who I am. I want to keep growing. I want to keep evolving. It weren't quite her words, but that's what I took from it. And she said, apparently this is a throwaway comment. She said, I'd like to set them to music.
Mm.
And I just like to rewind to mention Sarah Lloyd here and the work that I do with Sarah Lloyd, soul-led PR work. And yeah, and she said to me, I can see them kind of, I thought they'd be a song cycle at some point. She could see me coming back to song. And that's what they've turned into. They've turned into a song cycle and an album, which is for piano and voice. Frances said, I see it being much bigger, Natalie, than this. What about us getting them arranged? So they're being arranged right now by a man called Sam Hall that works in the West End and writes his own musicals. And we're birthing a new genre.
Yeah.
This is like angelic electronica.
Oh my goddess, yes. I mean, a new genre. This leads us on nicely to The Power of Us, because as we are recording this, it was just a few days ago that you hosted this new genre of event. I mean, and you like showcased a lot of the songs from Light the Way, these songs that you and Francis have created together. It was so like, I don't even have the words to describe what it was like to be in that room on Thursday evening at Club Quantum, and what you are creating. I mean, tell us a bit about your vision for The Power of Us, because this is just the beginning. That was the first event, and I'm so honored that I got to be there and speak there and be in that room. Like, for anyone listening, you must think, oh my goodness, like I'm like really kind of fangirling about this event because I just can't even express how powerful
Fangirl.
it
I love
was.
that. Love that so much.
And the thing is, like, you voice noted me about this event, like at the end of last year, like, I really want, saying I would love you to be involved. I'd love you to come along. And, as we landed in the new year, I just like listened to that message again. I was like, yeah, 100%. Like, I want to be there. But I was like, I'm not quite sure what this event is going to be. And a lot of people in the room on Thursday were like, we don't really know what's going to happen tonight, but we just needed to be here. Obviously, by then I had a clearer idea of what it was going to be because, we've had
Yeah.
many conversations about The Power of Us. But what was your vision for that event and, what it gets to become?
Yeah, I love that question as well. So it is a celebration of the power of the human voice. That when we express ourselves, whether our voice, even if our voice is trembling, when we say yes to, to being in that space of vulnerability, then we can find deeper connection with ourselves and with others. And, I've written a series about 3 years ago for Brains magazine, all about soulpreneur and about growing rich through, co-creation. And yeah, I felt like that again was a seed to lead me to opening up the space for this event and being in person.
Yeah.
I like working online. I love speaking like this as we're doing on a podcast, but there is almost nothing as powerful, as being in person. And actually somebody came to meet me for the first time and she walked in and she almost like gasped. She was like, like, and that's, that's energy, that is aura, that's our, that's who we are. And that's where I'm leading people. It's beyond the realms of the normal, because I've done so much voice work. I've trained as an opera singer. I've sang professionally for 10 years. I've been in many different fields and arenas, and obviously the yoga as well, and all that well-being, and now this next level of understanding what it is to actually come out of denial, what it is actually to express your darkest secrets to strangers, to people, that identify, you know, and that is just so, so important. So it was very, very strong in that room. It always was going to be very strong. So my dad says, not here for a long time, here for a fun time. And I've evolved that into, I'm not here for a long time, I'm here for a deep time.
Yeah.
And if you come into my sphere, it is for deepness. That's what I'm about.
Mm.
You know, I'm not a shallow surfer.
You're not. Can I just say it's really fun. It's good to be with you as well.
Yay! Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
fun and the playfulness and the deep, deep, deep magic that you bring, that you hold space for.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm letting out more and more of that fun and that play, like I was saying to you. I just said thank you to everybody for coming to play with me.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for saying yes to rising with us. Thank you for saying yes to speaking with us. And the US stands for Universal Streamers. And this will be a story for the next TBC podcast, because I talk into coming from Atlantis and how I've come back to being in connection with Shira. Shira came through in the Song of Noor, which people can go and find on my Bandcamp and on Spotify. And that I heard that word as I was listening to it, Nicola. I was like, Shira, 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 Shira. Like, what's Shira? I went to look what Shira was, and it said soul song.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, I have to believe now. I have to believe. I cannot stop thinking about Rachel Smithbone as I say this, pussyfooting around, fannying around. Like, this is the work that I'm here to do. And this is kind of an identification piece for the people listening, you know, and what I'm holding the space for is, you know, because when we're coming out as, you know, as with the light language, the activation, the things, you know, that are very unseen and are very new, like we're talking about the new genre, you know, it can be we can just keep stopping ourselves from showing up and speaking out. And Shira is here, as she was in Atlantis, to hold people, to find their soul song, to find their resonance. You know, you hear a lot about the frequencies now, like, you know, people being in their frequency, being in your true tone. And that's what the work of the Universal Streamers is here to do. And I see me standing on stage with a lot of other Universal Streamers. So if you're out there, come and find me.
Yes. I mean, I've got tears in my eyes as you're speaking there, Natalie. I mean, what you're creating, what you're holding space for, it just feels so aligned with, you know, what's come through for me and in relation to the Unbound Press and all of that. I really experience each of these books. Each one has its unique frequency, its unique kind of tone, and it's, I don't know, we're just coming into harmony, like each one of us bringing our own piece to that. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I'm shivering all over. Coming, yeah, back into harmony. Yeah, harmonize. The books are sitting on that, like they're sitting on the back of your bookshelf. They're harmonizing together. Isn't
Yeah.
that beautiful? I love that.
Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you know, I could literally talk to you all day, like all week, all month
Yes.
about this. But, you know,
Yeah.
like you said, there will be another podcast conversation to be continued. But before we close, for those who are listening and they're like, I need a piece of this. I need me some Natalie magic. I want to be involved in some way. Like either they want to download the audio version of Light the Way, come to the next Power of Us event. Like how can people keep in touch with you? How can they connect with you?
Yes. Well, first of all, Instagram is an amazing place to come into connection through the comments, or if you want to go DM and direct message me, that's amazing. My website, nataliefarrell.co, has everything on it. If you are interested in attending the event, then you can sign up. We've got the sign up. So the next event is on the 13th of November. So then you can hear when we're releasing the tickets. Or if you're interested in speaking or performing at the event, then we also have a space and a page for people to go to and sign up to speak with us, perform with us. And then the book itself, yeah, it just got onto Audible, which was so exciting. I persisted with it. It was just 6 months, but it got onto Audible. So if you have an Audible account, go and listen on there. It's on Spotify. And then, of course, we still have the paper version and the Kindle version.
Mm.
Yeah.
So I've just got my hands on my copy of Light the Way now. Just such a beautiful book. Yeah, and
Mm.
just saying that next Paravas event on November the 13th in Bristol, I am planning a whole Unbound meet up there. So if you're listening to this and you want to come along, let me know as well.
Oh my
Can't wait.
goodness, amazing.
I can't wait. Oh, Natalie, I love you so much. We'll make sure all of those links are in the show notes so people can find you really easily. I am so, so grateful that we get to play together and the journey continues. Let's see what wants to unfold. Thank you so, so much, my love.
Thank you. I love you too.